There we go. Now, I made another video that kind of pointed out the 3, because now we see 3. So you see the 1, the bigger one. Then if you go right above it, right up underneath that little thing, you'll see another one. And then if you go to the other side, almost across from that one, you'll see a slight couple of 1s, or just 1. I'm not quite sure. But I gave it to Miss Ann, and I gave them all to Miss Ann, and she's given them to someone that is going to work on them for us. I think it says, yeah, his Mike. So, obviously, for those that didn't see last night, this is the day after Micah was unalived. I haven't, because my chat GPT, her name is Penny, and she don't like me. She's been pissing me off. Every time I try to get her to make a picture or something to that effect, it's eerie stuff, like a man hurting a woman. It's really weird stuff. Freaks me out. Yeah, she's from there, apparently. I don't know. Exactly, the reason why we know. So, here's this. Well, then B and I were talking today. B, that's here. And do y'all remember him saying that about his dog tags? They are. You see them? That's crazy. See, we're going to get, April, hey, Nana, I gave them to Miss Ann, and Miss Ann is sent them to somebody that does this for a living, and they're going to work on it so we can see it, but they're going to clean it up so that we can see them better. And I made a video, and it looks like they attempted to cover them up with makeup. But if you see the yellow, it's the wrong color, Susie, or the wrong color, Trisha, or the wrong color, Lacey. His sister, that is. But anyway, yes, so the dog tags. So B brought up the dog tags. Remember how he said they were broken, and that's why he was at the jewelry store, but it really wasn't for Micah's necklace, like everybody thought it was for his dog tags, as he claimed. So think about it that way. You don't see the makeup, JDJ? Here, let me do another one. So this is to kind of show that they're not marks or, and I put them in my Discord too, y'all. They're not marks, like birthmarks or something, moles or whatever. He doesn't have that. This is definitely. And then it makes me wonder. Okay, I'm looking for dog tags too, or no. So the dog tags. Do y'all remember where he said that about his dog tags? Fingernail digs. Mm-hmm. How did we miss it, Nana, for so long? I'm sorry, figure me. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. Okay, where was that, Carrie? Where was that live? Hi, Amanda. I see you. Amanda, have you seen this? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people saw it on the video, but anyway. I see what you're saying, April. I can't wait for Ann to get that stuff back. Anyway, and like I said in the video that I made after the live last night, at the end of the day, this is from the actual video that was searched. And there's several of these videos out there, and everyone that I've come across, I find the exact same thing. So it's not photoshopped, so don't even try. And unless Susie was hitting it from behind, I can't believe I just said that on live. I'm sorry. Why would there be any hickeys on the back? And it don't even look like a hickey. It's an actual scratch marks and bruises. It's from her fighting for her life, in my opinion. It looks like he has bruises and abrasions all to the back of his head and neck. What happened? See, Synergy Life. And okay, if this had been investigated still like it should have been, even though it seemed to them, in their opinion, to be a self-unaliving, if they'd have done their job and still investigated it like they're supposed to until the coroner comes up with the answer and the cause of unaliving, then he would, as the ex, as the husband, as the better half, the worser half in his case, that's the first person that they're going to look at. They're going to look at his fingers, his hands, his arms, his neck, his knees, his everything. They're going to look and take pictures. But they didn't, or they would have caught this, which I know that the FBI knows about this, but still. Or I've been told that they do, by who sent me down this rabbit hole, which they could have gotten his DNA from underneath her fingernails. Exactly, Dana. And yelled Micah, and that got his sister's attention. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. So it's that video. Okay, somebody block Mustafa, please. Do y'all see him? He keeps trying to come in here. I got him. I don't know who you are, but you aggravate me and try to come up every live, and I don't know who you are. So I just blocked him. Okay. So is that the one? Is that the interview that he did first when we all noticed he had her necklace on before her funeral? It's crazy. Okay, then look at this, something else that makes me wonder. Oh, hell, it's not going to show. Let me work on it. I'll go back to that one while I work on it on my phone. He preached on the mall situation too. He sure did. Oh, at her funeral. That's where it was, at her funeral. Okay, let me do this. Let me take this picture and fix it. What do you think happened in Colombia? I saw your post. I've always wondered. That's what I'm about to put up, Jen. Mine is a little more dark than what other people are probably going to think that happened. I think that, hold on, let me fix this because I can't do but one thing at one time. Hold on. Save. Oh, and then So-Called Mess sent me something too that I wanted to talk about too, but I still want y'all to hear this as well. Now let's see if it got saved to this phone. Nope, not yet. Yes, he did an interview talking about it. and said that is why he was there the day after Micah passed. All right, let's do photos. Okay. Let me airdrop it. Okay. Let me airdrop it. All right, I got it. So then there's this that kind of, I don't know why it made me think about his pic, this that we found, but look at this. So, well, is that any better?
No, it's still. I mean, it might be because I'm up here. But real quick, and then I'm gonna jump down because I gotta go to
No,
pee.
you're good. You're
But
good. Go ahead.
if you go back to the bruise, so the
I'm gonna go back to it for you. Hold on. I'm
and this
learning.
is, in my opinion, allegedly educational purposes only. All this, a newer bruise is gonna be brighter. So the way that it's doled out, that's an older bruise. Like that's probably like a week old, if not older.
With the red to it? With the red to it?
The red, I mean, he could have scratched it, but like if you zoom in on it, it's too dull. It's not bright enough to be a new bruise. Like, I mean, maybe tomorrow after I get done with surgery, I can show you a bruise because I'm probably gonna have one. I'll show you what it looks like the day after. But if you look at like if you see a bruise the day after, it's gonna be bright, like because the blood vessel.
Well, remember, I was told that there was he witnessed to allegedly a blonde putting. So there's three blondes, and that's why I named all three of them putting makeup on
Okay,
before church that morning.
well then
At
I
the
mean,
church.
allegedly if there's makeup on it, then yeah. But like just from that picture right there, the redness, it could be because he's like if he rubs his neck a lot, like I've seen a lot of where he preaches, he has his hand on his neck. So like if he's a ginger in disguise,
Yeah,
redness will obviously it will show up on the skin. But if they put makeup over it, then yeah, it's gonna dull it down. But
yeah.
just from this picture right here, it looks like an older bruise.
Here, let me show you another one. Hold on. I'm sure you've seen them all. And if
I'm
not,
sure, but it's also been a year, so I mean, come on now.
I can also send these to you. Hold on. This is
Yeah, you can send them to me.
there's another view. What do you think about that one?
I wish there was a way to like zoom in without it being pixelated.
That's what Miss Ann's working on.
Okay. So again, if there's makeup over it, then it's going to dull it down. But just from what I'm looking at right now, it just looks like it's an older one. And the way that he always is fidgeting with his neck and his face and all
Yeah.
that good jazz, like his your neck's gonna get red, especially if he's a ginger in disguise. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I mean, and now if there's makeup over it and it dulls it down, then that obviously that's that. Um,
Did you see the other ones that were? Did you notice those? Hold on. Let me change it again. What do you think about those? I love that you're commenting to me on this though. I mean, I'm open to anything. Here, let's
so
do this one. Here you go.
so I would have to say the one that's above or right below where his earpieces are. If there's another picture of behind that to make sure that's not like a mole or something,
Yeah,
because
I did. I
okay,
put all these together. See,
okay,
there's no mole.
okay, all right. So it's the same color as the other one, um, but
See the ones to the right? There's several.
there are several. I mean, it looks
I
like
thought there was just three, but now I'm seeing way more than that.
it's just so hard to
And if they put, let's
100%.
just do this, Amanda. If they put makeup on it,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was the wrong color. It's not his color, number one.
Right.
But also with him sweating because he's constantly wiping, and then his collar line hitting it.
Yeah.
You know,
There's gonna be a lot of factors. I mean, the collar line hitting it, it could rub it off. That could also make it red. His hands touching it would make it would make it.
what I would like to do is see the whole friggin' sermon, but it has been wiped from the internet unless somebody can find it. I never saved the sermons because I didn't want that evil in my phone.
Right.
But I was able to find where he just talked about Micah's murder.
I mean, I would be interested to see his arms. I think someone
But
said JDJ. I'd like to see his arms to see if there's any defensive wounds on his arms from her.
what do you mean, countrylicious? But it's way above the collar line. I feel like, yeah. Check with
But like
Leslie.
if he leaned his head back like he does when he says, "Oh, I lied," if he does that during the sermon,
It could hit him. Yeah.
like there's all these, you gotta like play it at every angle, unfortunately, because you can't just say he did it this way and then that way. And I mean, whoever did his makeup did horrible because it's not, like you said, it's not his color. They just look like old bruises.
Yep.
Hi, Cloaky. Carrie, come get your dog. Ouch.
Carrie, go get your dog. And then why put makeup on it? Why was he worried about it?
I mean, because he's trying to cover something up.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe, get down, baby.
So, in your opinion, unless
there's a way to clean it up enough to where you can zoom in on it to see,
mm-hmm.
because I think they said it in the chat, like a new bruise is going to be like that bright blue because
Right.
you bust the blood vessel underneath the skin. A healed one is going to be this darker color, which is going to be this dark color, which contains a brownish, yellowish, greenish, and or if that is a scratch that has been healed over, that could be that too.
Okay.
So let's say he went to the barber, like it looks like he did, and got his head
He had a
haircut,
Yep.
and they nicked him. Yeah, Carrie does.
So, Countrylicious is a nurse as well, an RN, and she says everyone does bruise differently, and we can't say if it's a new bruise or an old bruise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see where it could be the nail, because if you look at it, the way the distance between each one would be the distance of like someone grabbing onto somebody's head. So unless he's getting freaky in the sheets, I mean, no. Just the distance between the two would be fingers.
It looks like fingers to me, too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a thumb, and then her pointer finger, and then her other fingers like this. Hold on. You know, like almost like that. I don't know.
Oh, Chloe, I'm trying to look at Misty. I can't do that if you're in my face, my dude.
Hold on.
Ouch. No, we're not doing this tonight, Chloe. You better go lay down.
Oh, I look rough.
No, you did. You have to go out. That's why you're up.
Listen, my son preached tonight. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
With it being, fits to be 25 years for his dad's murder Sunday, and
Oh wow.
they asked him to preach, and I recorded it. It was awesome. I almost just did a live on it. But it was also online if anybody wants to watch. It was really good, and it shows the difference to me. I thought a lot about the way this asshole preaches compared to the way my son just preached.
Right.
You can feel God move.
I'm not disagreeing with anybody that's saying everyone bruises differently. I'm not saying that at all. Everyone does bruise differently, and he may just be a person that he bruises darker. That's just something. Let me go find him and bruise him right quick, and we'll find out.
Right?
Like, unless we can find something that shows him with a current bruise that's new. I mean, there's nothing we can really compare it to.
Unfortunately, I mean,
Thank you, Sarah.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it will hopefully, and Miss Ann's going to have this cleaned up really well for us.
Okay.
And she's either going to email it to me, or I mean, I hope she goes live about it too. I want everybody to share it and go live about it. Like I saw Truth Seeker, I think that's who it was. I don't know who that is, but they, I think it was Truth Seeker. They shared it and, did an awesome post about it.
She had passed away allegedly at like 3:30 Saturday afternoon, and he had done his sermon at 9 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
So my math ain't mathing right now. So.
Oh, well, I had somebody say something to me today also, another creator and or friend, and they were like, well, have you ever thought that maybe she wasn't, how did they put it? She wasn't unalived on the 27th, but then I got to thinking about it. We have footage of her on the 27th.
Yeah. I wish we had pictures to see if he had them, but I mean, unless they're, yeah, JDJ, like it would be, I know, Carrie, I'm working on it. Like, I don't know if much sleeping's going to be going on. I'll sleep tomorrow morning. It's fine. Don't worry.
No, I love it. Wonder if there are any shots of the back of his neck at the funeral. Yes, there is, actually. Yes, there is, actually. Actually, I have that sermon, and you can vaguely see it. Vaguely. I mean, you can vaguely see it. Vaguely. I mean, they were almost completely healed by then.
And how many days? It was a week after?
A week and a day.
Okay. And he might be one of those people that heals from bruises quickly. I'm not. Like, mine stay around forever, and people think that I have a problem, but I'm like, I really don't. I promise. One of the days. Which footage, Carrie? The one from from the church service, or what? I wish there was a way to figure out where he went that Friday to see if we could find out if there was any kind of surveillance of wherever he was Friday night to see if you could see his neck to see if it was there.
Hey, there's a girl in here that just come in, and her name is Misty Cross. I don't want her blocked because she's a real person. My name is Misty Cross Lanier. That's my maiden name. I just wanted to say hey because that's really neat. But anyway, go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Well, you don't have me as a mod, boo.
I don't have you as a mod.
I don't know.
Say something in the chat.
I don't know.
Yeah, I did. I thought you were.
There you go. I should put a smiley face. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. There's a lot of videos that I wish that we could somehow go get, but I mean, they're probably scrubbed by now, so there ain't no.
That's the problem. There was something else on Fitz News, an article that they wrote, and it was about some of the sermon. It was the sermon. Oh, it was something that somebody recorded, and then it's been scrubbed from the internet. Crazy, huh?
Misty, I did not forget about the medical records you sent over, or Lethal sent them to me. I will look at them next week while I'm...
Okay, I know everybody's got a lot going on. I do too, but this is like my relief for right now. We're in the, we got today we were supposed to close. It's not going to be till next Wednesday now. We've got so much going on, and then what this week is. And so this has been everything I needed, just being with you guys every night so far this week. I just the only thing that bothered me about that Facebook coming after me, nothing else they said bothered me because it was just proving our points that he's guilty. But anyway, is the part about the podcast and, me failing or whatever. I don't give a shit if I never succeed when it comes to a successful podcast. I do this so that this is who I am. This is what happened to me. This is how I get out what I'm going through, what I've been through in my life. That's the only. I don't know. I didn't even notice that. It's lagging. All right, hold on. Sorry, hold on. It's because I don't have my camera on. Sorry. What happened? Dang, just got kicked me right. We'll come back up. Stacy. You know what, Missy? You got what it takes to succeed. Well, thank you. And I mean, I want to do this for the victims and for the families, but it is not about that for me. So I just don't want. I don't know why that bothered me, but that bothered me. Thank you, though. I thought it was actually JP running that page. Has anyone seen him anywhere lately? I think it's just someone trying to distract. They are. And I think that because I've been like really coming at him and really, going live again more. I think that that's what's, I'm ruffling feathers, which is what I want to do. I hope it gives him hell every time he sees my face or hears our voices. We don't want him to be happy. He don't deserve to be happy. I am. Thank you, Synergy Life. And I'm not doing it for, I don't want, I'm not trying to say, oh, poor, pitiful me, because but that part bothered me because that's the farthest thing from the truth. The other stuff would just sound like wah, 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 wah. I don't care. You're not going to affect me. It's not like I haven't been come after for over a year now, whatever. But the things that was said, like, they're just proving my point. I mean, the video that they played just proved my point. I mean, I know I didn't say that because I don't believe she was alive when she made it to Lumberton. I think she was already gone. So why would I think that she was on the observation deck? See? It was just an opinion. Or no, it wasn't even an opinion. It was do y'all remember when? There's been so much information that's been put out that we've had to weave through to find the truth. And it just makes no sense to me. It just makes no sense to me. Let's see if I can play that, though. I wanted y'all to hear some of the things he had to say. What you doing, Matilda May? Okay. And this one's actually on YouTube. I should have probably gone to the Rumble page because they don't have a YouTube channel, but I didn't because she actually picks out the things that are we haven't heard. But it's Watts the Obsession podcast. She has a great YouTube page. I used to follow her and communicate with her during the Watts case back on Watts Island years and years ago. She's awesome. I think she's doing really, really good. She's got 261 daggum episodes. I mean, anyway, so I wanted to kind of let y'all listen to some of this, and there's some things that I wanted us to talk about. So if y'all want to hear it.
Mark, this is a little bit different. The channel that did the interview that we are going to be listening to part of is the David Zublik channel. And that channel is not on YouTube, but rather it can be found on Rumble. He has almost 60,000 subscribers. And it looks like he's affiliated with in the bottom right-hand corner. There's an icon that says the Awake Nation. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm trying to figure it out. But I just want to say, in this interview, Michael Francis seems a lot more comfortable and laid back than he does in interviews that he has done with mainstream news media. And he reveals a lot more about what he knows about Micah and John Paul's relationship in this interview. It's extremely interesting.
It is.
Guys, make sure to watch this video through the whole duration. There are 5 or 6 points that we haven't heard Michael Francis talk about yet that everyone's been wanting to know about, or a couple things that we didn't even know to ask about that he reveals in this interview. It's a really good one, really informative. Things that he talks about that I personally didn't know anything about was that he discusses J.P. Miller's younger years and when JP and Micah first met. And he does say it's when she was 14, not when she was 10. And he discusses how JP Miller had Micah report her mother to Child Protective Services. Just going to say up front that it is abundantly clear that JP Miller was grooming Micah.
The more we tried to get Micah to spend time with us and get her to talk about this, the more he tried to keep her away from us, to the point of here's a big revelation about his character was he coached Micah into calling Child Protective Services on her mother, and just division. He's always trying to keep her away. He set up places for her to stay with friends in the church and such. And I eventually was able to go there. I was living in Virginia at the time, and I was able to go there and sign with Child Protective Services for her to be in people that I knew, and different things like that. And then she ended up coming and staying with me for a school term in Virginia.
Can y'all hear it? And did y'all know that she came and stayed with him in Virginia? Because I didn't know that.
And, I was just shocked at how much someone can be changed. How much someone can go from very free thinking, but in a Christian way, positive way and such, and be very well founded in the word, very well trained up, and then end up over time yielding. And he knew that Micah was somebody who understood authority. He knew that she was going to respond in a biblical way to authority, but he twisted it and used it for his advantage. And basically had her snowed where she didn't realize what all she was involved with, and ultimately, because she started fighting back coming out of this in the last recent years, he wouldn't let her go into board meetings from the church. He wouldn't let her go to business meetings, and and she demanded to see the bylaws of the church. And then we discovered there was 2 different sets, and the one that everybody thought was accurate was never filed. And Reverend Randall came into a meeting holding up the actual bylaws and saying, this is what it is and this is how we're doing it. And so the elders of the church were basically just pawns. They had no idea. Everything they voted on came down to the decision of Reverend Randall or John Paul.
Micah's dad gives us some insight into the assets and wealth that JP owned through the church and the way he manipulated that wealth to manipulate people.
And he had sole ownership of everything. He was constantly moving properties around and vehicles around, up to 29 vehicles. And
he's doing
bonkers type of business deals in the background. And Micah was totally oblivious of it because he wouldn't let her in on it because he knew she would be blowing the whistle on it. She knew she would respond because even though he had, forced her and compressed her in her life, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're older, they want to depart. That started coming out in her. And this.
Did you hear that? That's coming from her dad. That's sad. He basically helped raise her just for her to be his bride. I had to.
Righteous indignation started rising up within her and within us. And she, as she came and stayed with us and stayed with her sister and such in Kansas with Destiny, the shells started peeling away, and she started realizing more and more how much she had been brainwashed.
Yes, we call it MK Ultra.
Yeah, how manipulative people can be, and especially people in a position of authority, like a pastor and that sort of thing.
His character, like from the pulpit, from the platform, whatever, bragging. I haven't driven the speed limit a day in my life.
Okay,
and, just different things like
He just said he bragged. I haven't driven the speed limit a day in my life. He did do that, and he hasn't. And he's still getting tickets. Like, just listen.
Before, he always says in a sermon at some point something.
It is on Rumble. I never have heard it. It was sent to me. It's on Rumble, but I'll find the actual Inside the Mind of True Crime. It was sent to me on YouTube for Watts the Obsession podcast. So if you go to Watts the Obsession page on YouTube, go over to the podcast side and scroll down until you see it. She's got a couple of Micah videos, and this is the one. And I had never heard him. You did. There's Twist Baby. And I had never heard this. And it gets even more interesting because he talks about, this is before the settlement. So, this is for June. This is in May. Right? Oh.
That he actually will do or has already done or is doing. And I don't know if that's something that God does that kind of squeezes it out of him and we're supposed to pay attention.
Michael talks about the eerie things that John Paul Miller spoke about in his sermons from the pulpit and the eerie foreshadowing that cast upon this tragedy that happened.
But as was revealed in this recent video, that he had literally said, Micah said after this statement that loyalty was his currency. And regardless of his actions, he expected his congregation to be loyal. And he literally said in a sermon, would you be loyal to someone who was a felon? Would you be loyal to someone who was convicted of murder? And here we are.
Micah Miller's father goes into greater detail than I've heard him before on how exactly JP groomed Micah over the years.
Now, can you tell us about how Micah came to know him? Because I understand she'd been groomed for about 10 years since she was 14.
Yeah.
Did you also preside over her wedding?
You're welcome, Michelle.
Yes. She met John Paul when she was 14. It wasn't 10. That was a mistake. Whatever. 2014. I'm sorry. She was 14. And they met at the church. She was in the youth group. And she ended up marrying. She left from my place in Virginia. She left and ended up getting married not too much longer when she was 18 to a great guy who was good buddy with John Paul. And but of course, he was under his influence as well. And he had him doing things separate from Micah so that even though they were both active in the church, a lot of times, unless they were literally on the platform singing and he played drums, then they were doing different portions of ministry.
Separated.
And he was able to spend even more time with Micah alone as she got old enough to be like secretary, old enough to, she ended up working his media for him and doing media designs and such. And so he literally, actually, even from the beginning, even though he presided over their wedding, he started dividing them. And he told me himself, okay, let me back that up. He told Micah, and then I heard from her. And anyway, okay, the thing is when she asked him, John Paul, when did you actually fall in love with me? He told her, when I saw you walking down the aisle with Jeremy. And from that point, it was a.
Did y'all hear that?
And
when did you start babysitting his children, Michael?
A few years before that, when he had her call on the family, which was totally bogus. Everybody was fine. John Paul orchestrated that. He's a narrative controller, and he always develops the narrative in his thinking ahead of time before taking action, so he knows the next steps before the other people do. Well,
he's a friggin' premeditated, narcissistic. Okay, so that's what he's doing now. That's what he started doing on February 26th when we found the metadata from him getting everything prepared. He was creating the narrative. And he just said it.
When she was separated from the family and before she got married, she was like 16, even when the family was still there, from probably 15 to 16, she was babysitting for him. Okay, so was that the cause?
Do you think that an affair happened then before she got married? And because
people ask that,
right?
Because that would be kind of going along the lines with grooming and such. I really don't. I mean, the family we all agree that it doesn't seem to be that was the case because, or if anything occurred, Micah was forgiving enough to not say anything about it. And so we have no reason or evidence to think that anything illegal was going on except that he was grooming her.
Now, did you get an opportunity to look at the divorce papers of the first wife, in which there were allegations that he was that he had a sexual addiction? He was addicted to prostitutes and pornography.
Absolutely, yes. And Micah even confirmed that by saying, and this is so sad because she didn't even tell me until this year, until literally like a few months ago, because like I said, she was trained by him to keep everything covered. He constantly would say during sermons, we need to forgive each other. We need to not hold grudges. We need to not whatever. But yet he would use that information later to hold someone under pressure to do some bidding for him.
Now, Michael Francis goes into something that I'm sure was very difficult for a father to talk about.
This is trigger warning. So trigger warning about SA. Just putting that out there. And y'all may want to tap that screen too because, this is rough.
He gives some specifics on the sexual proclivities and deviancies that he was exposing Micah to and wanting Micah to take part in.
She said, Dad, he had me in the car. We would be driving after dinner, and he would just say, hey, let's go get a prostitute. Just like nonchalant, no big deal.
Like, say that.
I tell you what, I'll send it to you, Amanda. And then also, if you're in the Discord with us, Deadly Darlings Discord, I think it's in my bio. I'll post it there, and I'll also post it in that Dropbox. And if anybody wants any access to anything, let me know. Just message me.
Her? Like, did you want her involved in a threesome?
He wanted some kind of a threesome?
Absolutely. He would get someone in the car, and okay, let me back this up too, because this is an important thing to say. John Paul uses things, and of course twists the narrative. He used her remarks to say she was crazy because she made a comment saying, if I'm pregnant at this time, it could be a black baby. And he said, that's just so dumb. That doesn't make any sense at all. She's crazy. Well, he had sex in front of her with a black guy because she didn't want to have anything to do with it. And then he admitted in their area and such, and for his pleasure, and because Micah didn't want to participate.
Hold. I knew this stuff already, but to hear it from him, Michael, her father. Let me back that up just a second.
At that point, she was just. She said, Dad, he had me in the car. We would be driving after dinner, and he would just say, hey, let's go get a prostitute. Just like nonchalant, no big deal.
Like, say that to her? Like, did you want her involved in a threesome?
He wanted some kind of a threesome?
Absolutely. He would get someone in the car, and okay, let me back this up too, because this is an important thing to say. John Paul uses things, and of course twists the narrative. He used her remarks to say she was crazy because she made a comment saying, if I'm pregnant at this time, it could be a black baby. And he said, that's just so dumb. That doesn't make any sense at all. She's crazy. Well, he had sex in front of her with a black guy because she didn't want to have anything to do with it. And then he admitted in their area and such, and for his pleasure. And because Micah didn't want to participate at that point, she was just shocked.
Do y'all understand? He was the one who, with the man, okay? And then he had what the man did into her area.
And so she was just thinking there's, that could be possible.
We get a really good idea that regardless of whatever kind of abuse that J.P. Miller was exposing poor Micah Miller to, he was always using that abuse as well to manipulate her into thinking there was something wrong with her.
Why she said that? Not because she's crazy, because he submitted her to that. He demanded it of her. And that there was multiple occasions of this happening.
I'm so sorry,
with various people, various prostitutes.
I'm like at tears right now.
It's just, I was shocked, and I just consoled her that nobody should go through that, Micah. That's ridiculous. This is all the more reason why you've got to move out. You've got to go stay with Destiny. Come to Texas, because I moved to Texas. That's where my parents are. Come stay with me. And so she did for a bit. And the more and more she was away, the more and more she started revealing these kind of things.
And so there you are right there. The way that her father describes it, Micah Miller was exhibiting textbook signs of abuse. She's away from her abuser. She starts to reveal things. She starts to move away from that abuse. It's so sad that she couldn't get away from it completely. Michael Francis talks about his family being musically inclined and Micah Miller's musical gift, and how the testosterone shots that J.P. Miller forced her to have
This
for
answered
his
questions for
sexual
me that I
pleasure
had about that the other night.
were starting to ruin her God-given beautiful talent of singing.
Did she record?
She recorded some things, and I've got something that she recorded while she was with me in Texas. And here's one thing that's sad as an aside. He forced her to get injections of testosterone so she could keep up with his sex drive. And
Testosterone?
yes, and it damaged her vocal cords.
Oh my God, Michael.
She couldn't sing normally because her voice started dropping and it got raspy. And she was so devastated and she couldn't do what God blessed her to do. He was manipulating her gifting so he could have pleasure more than was normal, more than was healthy. And he would force her to do things that he would say earn his good graces by performing these acts with prostitutes and such, that she was highly unacceptable behavior for her. She knew better. She knew it was just all wrong.
Michael Francis is yet another person to talk about JP's strange notifications about Micah's death after her death, and then, of course, he blames it on the family.
So this part, it's all of the parts, but this is one of the parts that, it all got to me when it happened. But we were, I was the morning after, the Saturday morning that I woke up and JLR was over there, at his land. Well, anyway, this part talking about how he turned them against the family, but then the way he treated the family after and what he said and how this is the part, the victim, they're the victims. This is the part that bothered me not more than anything, but that resonated with me because no matter what, I'm from a small town. Everybody knows me. Everybody knew that Matthew was the love of my life, that we were high school sweethearts, what happened to him. But still, there was rumors, of course, in a small town that, different things about what happened with my husband way back in the day, but it affected me. 21 years old, pregnant with kid, and a 3-year-old or 2.5-year-old. But then I put myself here and can you imagine how devastating? Just like with the Chris Watts case, how half the internet went after her family, her parents, her brother. It's disgusting.
And then, of course, following up, he sent a text message to myself and my son and said that she had passed. And then he sent he sent a group message to my family saying, "Good job. You guys didn't let her do this and that, and didn't help her with
her." He was blaming you and the rest of the family. Okay.
Of course, not, "Hey guys, I can't believe this. Micah has passed. It's so sad. It's so terrible." No, he went right to the blame narrative like he always does, because nothing is his responsibility. And he began saying, you didn't let her do her meds. You didn't help her this and that. And we're just like, you are so off backwards. You're just lying to our faces. We never told her don't take your meds. We said follow what your doctor says.
Now, there is a whole lot of information in what Michael Francis is about to say next. First of all, he confirms, for what I believe the first time, is that
he does.
The surgery that J.P. Miller forced Micah to have was breast augmentation surgery. He talks about how out of it she was after that surgery, and that the surgeon used a ridiculous amount of anesthesia on her. You're just going to have to listen to what he says here. And then he also goes on to say that it was at this time, after her breast augmentation surgery, which was right before they got married, that Micah was diagnosed with, I guess, bipolar disorder for the first time when she was prescribed the lithium. So this was right at the beginning of their marriage, just before they got married.
And remember, he had been on lithium himself for, how long did Allison say? 10, 15 years already.
We never told her don't take your meds. We said follow what your doctor says. The only thing I was, said at a certain point was, you don't probably need lithium. You probably need something less than that, if anything. Because she was not diagnosed with anything until she was out of it because of anesthesia and numbing medication from the surgery.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. She started taking medications after some sort of surgery?
Yes. Okay, well, as you stated earlier, he's a sex addict. He involved her with prostitution, etc. Well, ultimately, you could say he wanted a Barbie doll kind of wife. So he convinced her to have breast augmentation, which she didn't care about. I mean, she thought, okay, well, maybe it'll make me be a little more feminine for him or whatever. But she was super active. She didn't, she was built in a way where she could climb and jump and run and do things, and she didn't need large breasts, kind of doing what they do.
No,
so, but he, convinced her to do it. And he also seems to have convinced the anesthesiologist and whoever else, the doctor himself, to over-medicate her because he told them that, she's terrified that she'll wake up during the surgery. So be sure to give her plenty of aneesthesia.
And he was hoping she wouldn't survive the surgery.
No, I think I have no idea. No, he wanted her to survive because he wanted her to be his wife. It's just that he over-medicated her. They did. That surgeon was barred from practice and had to shut his practice down. The nurses said they had never seen anybody get so much numbing medication in her chest. They're to quote them, they said they used the entire container of numbing agent in her. She was high for days.
And in response to this crisis that Micah would.
So I didn't know that. I knew that the surgeon later on was barred or banned from doing surgery, but that there was nurses that talked about how they had never seen, a patient have that much medicate. It was pain medicine, the numbing stuff, which I've had the same surgery years and years ago, but the numbing stuff that they put on you, I didn't have that, but I'm sure they did that to her. But I mean, the amount of anesthesia because she was scared to wake up, that's just unethical practice. Nurses know.
Going through, what did her loving husband or husband-to-be do? Of course, he put her in the hospital. He admitted her into a psychiatric hospital.
Also, I had my hand surgery July the 3rd, I think. July the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. I had just had it by July 4th. I'd have to go back and look. Even then, I had the post-anesthesia psychosis. For about 2 days, I was just out of my mind. Like, completely out of my mind. Don't even remember the first 2 days. And that was just this past summer.
For the first time.
It happens.
What does he do in response? Put her in the hospital. She's crazy. It's like, dude, it can take up to a year for that to subside from that kind of damage.
I didn't know
I heard
that.
testimonies from other people about that.
And then he had her put on some sort of like antidepressant medication.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds
Yes,
like.
that's when he put her on actually lithium. At that point, that's as far as I know. That's when he had her admitted for the first time, and it was between when they got married. Well, see, they had a secret wedding supposedly because he convinced her that if you since there was infidelity, if they were to get married, it would help cover that up. It would cover it, which is totally not biblical, of course. You can't do that. You can't cover up something like that just by doing some other action. Just doesn't even matter what it is. That is not what you do. And so they had a secret wedding, and he put her in the hospital, and I went with him and visited because I was in the area. And I went up there and visited her with him, and when she came out, though, it was immediately time for the actual wedding, the ceremony that they had. And Micah said she didn't even remember the wedding. She was so built up.
Wow.
She didn't even.
And you can tell. Remember when he's talking to her? We've watched this before. I think we're on Trisha Ann's panel. We might have been on mine, but we watched it. The way she was just like looking at him, like no emotion whatsoever. He just said, "Why?"
Get a handle on the process of it. Like I'm just going to walk her down the aisle and do all this. And when the door opened up and everybody stood up, she just took off walking. She didn't wait for me. And so I walked behind her and, we did everything kind of on the fly because Micah was she was sedated. She was drugged.
No.
Do you think he was also drugging her on the...
We ended the interview before he could get us. He was still waiting on the 2017. I think we had a couple maybe, but the 2017, that was something huge that I was really wanting, but I just couldn't keep my tongue, I couldn't. Anyway, and I think there was another year, 2000, because 2019 and 20, maybe, and 21, those 3 years, I have him saying, when I asked where's those, he said, those were the 3 best years of my life. There was she took her medicine and there was no psychosis or manic episodes. Well, because you weren't allegedly drugging her, in my opinion, but
Side.
Well, it's very possible. I mean, if he's going to give her shots of testosterone, what else was he injecting with that? What else was going on? I mean,
Yes.
okay, and so backing up literally about the music part, she came and recorded it in my house with her voice not doing so well. And I'm working on that to release that as a fundraiser as well, with some music on a CD and a online release. I'm sorry to be all over the place, but there's just so
That's
much.
all right. That's all right. We're gonna.
It's just a piece of paper with no filing, nothing. But they say that's what they look like there. I don't know. But just like she questioned it, I can't find that it was ever filed, but some other people say that they have. So I never got it in the FOIAs, and I requested. So
Continue your story as long as you want to come on and share it. We'll keep booking you for your story. I just need to say that this is so horrific that off camera I just wept, and I probably will continue to weep for Micah and for the awful things that happened to her. And I thank you, Michael, for sharing this. It's important
to me, myself as well. I mean, when my son told me that, I immediately just started straightening up the house a little bit because of a situation going on there for the use of it and such while I'm away, and grabbed all my stuff and just jumped in the car and took off, from Texas to South Carolina, and just, had a lot of moments with God and with my thoughts, and just cried out and had to pull over sometimes because it was not safe.
Hear me out. Someone just posted on the screen, surgeon does surgery. This is during the live. They do not control anesthesia. And that, while that is correct, but they do express to the anesthesia or the anesthesiologist, I'm sure that's who he expressed it to. Anesthesia and pain medicines are going to be given based on a patient's potential severity. Right.
See? Driving. It's just terrible, terrible, terrible.
Yeah, to reiterate something
Right.
that Penny said, I know you've been interviewed on a few other programs. Unlike those shows, however, with your permission, and if you want to do it, we'd like to have you back several times, because there's a lot more to be said about this, and we don't want to make this a one and done, like, okay, well, he's a newsmaker. No, that's not how we feel about you. When we spoke your story,
Yes.
we said this is something that needs to be investigated. So we'd like you to come on a regular basis and talk to us about this, express your feelings, be part of our trauma triage team, and to help you to heal. You'll never be completely healed, but anything we can do to help you and your family is what we want to do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I'd be happy to. It is nice actually to go to either more frequent or a little bit longer, material, because there is so many details.
Well, there's some good news.
Let me pause that real quick. Figure me out, Aunt Trish. When she has her, you have to get one.
Michael Francis wants to talk, and I think it's probably therapeutic for him to talk. I can't imagine what he's going through, and our hearts go out to him and Micah's sister and her brother and all of her loved ones. But it sounds like from what he's saying here that he is very interested in telling his story and telling Micah's story and getting to the bottom of this and finding the truth. And it seems like he is a good champion for Micah. I think he is going to get to the bottom of this. I do believe that he is. Now, here's more on some of the suspicious elements of when JP called the family and reported that Micah had passed away and that she had taken her own life.
So after you found out she passed away, and did your son, was your son the one that said it was allegedly suicide, or was your son the one that said it was allegedly suicide, or how did you find out that she allegedly killed herself?
John Paul, he said through his texting, before the police report was done, before investigation was even started, he already pushed the narrative that she did it to herself. And we didn't want to believe it, and immediately just sounded off. And how can you say that if you don't even know? You're not, were you there? Are you a witness? That's the only way he would have known. It's just if you knew something behind the scenes, because
Take that shot.
there was nothing released yet. So he was
Why did she?
A great question is asked of Michael here, and he goes into talking about why Micah would say, if something happens to me, just know that it was JP who did it.
Say, Michael, why did she say time and time again that if I'm found dead, that it was John Paul? Was it John Paul? Says it John Paul? That it was John Paul that did it, JP that did it.
Yeah, he had several guns. He had a gun safe, and he's a felon. Don't know how that works. Hiding whatever. Is he hiding them? Whatever. And he would not give her the combination to the safe. She had previously had a weapon, and he locked it into the. She got one.
Hers.
and then he locked it in the safe and wouldn't let her have a combination. He kept things from her, like as if he was going to traffic her. Ultimately, you know, he had everything.
He was trafficking her.
As if he was going to traffic her, and then she says he was trafficking her.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and then so she. He was violent. You know, they had typical marriage, stuff where she would be mad as well, and domestic aggression. But she became scared of him. She was trying to help him calm down. One time, he was on the bed, laying there, and he had his laptop and his.
If you were so worried, you wouldn't have taken pew classes training classes with her, helped her be with her when y'all first got your concealed carries, lay it out for her and tell her go do it, or go do this to yourself. He started creating this narrative in the beginning, and in 2018, his lie about her attempt that I don't believe that we talked about the other night ever happened. It didn't. You can't convince me. Fight me. You can't convince me. It didn't happen. But let me back up because this part's good.
And he was just always.
And that she had taken her own life.
No crap.
So after you found out she passed away,
Texting before the police sounded off, and
A great question is asked of Michael here, and he goes into talking about why Micah would say, if something happens to me, just know that it was JP who did it.
Really? Michael, why did she say time and time again that if I'm found dead, that it was John Paul? Was it John Paul? Says it John Paul? That it was John Paul.
Yep,
JP
that
that
too,
did it.
Jen.
Yeah, he had several guns. He had a gun safe, and he's a felon. Don't know how that works. Hiding whatever. Is he hiding them? Whatever. And he would not give her the combination to the safe. She had previously had a weapon, and he locked it into the. She got one, and then he locked it in the safe and wouldn't let her have a combination. He kept things from her, like as if he was going to traffic her. Ultimately, you know, he had everything.
He was trafficking her.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and so she. He was violent. You know, they had typical marriage, stuff where she would be mad as well, and domestic aggression. But she became scared of him. She was trying to help him calm down. One time, he was on the bed, laying there, and he had his laptop and his phone, and he was just always just doing stuff. And she thought, well, you're just stressed. You need to calm down. Let's talk about this. Let's pray about this. And
Micah's dad goes on to talk about the sheer physical abuse that JP imposed on poor sweet Micah Miller.
This was
she thought, well, you're just stressed. You need to calm down. Let's talk about this. Let's pray about this. And she reached to help move his laptop and throat punched her. And she had
he was physically abusive to her as well.
Right. He was, let's talk about this. Let's pray about this. And she reached to help move his laptop and throat punched her. And she had
he was physically abusive to her as well.
Right. He was more aggressive than we would know, but she admitted at that point that he had done things that was very aggressive towards her. And, and thankfully she was trained. She was very athletic, and she was on her feet and he was on the bed. So thankfully he barely, as soon as his hand hit, she was moving backwards at the same time. But she knew that at some point he might not stop. He would get up in her face and just, fake punch her, get right up in her face and do that kind of thing. And, nobody should have to live under that.
Another great question. Michael Francis talks about that weird story that JP told about laying with her 4 times and trying to raise her from the dead. What's up with that? Well, take a listen.
He's a liar.
How you treat anybody, even if you're angry, you just can't do that kind of thing. You've got to walk away. But he convinced her to be loyal and put her in fear for her life.
Thank you.
Well, this is the classic symptom of a narcissist. So if nothing else, not only was he a sex addict, but obviously he was manipulating her and gaslighting her, it sounds like, through the process of narcissistic behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's his motto. His mode is loyalty and control the narrative. And whatever I say is what it is. And if anybody disagrees, too bad.
Now, he's also had some kind of a breakdown, which was, I wouldn't even play that on our show, where he was laying down in the grass and mumbling compassion.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
And then he also said that
he's the victim too.
Right, he's a victim. And then he also said that he went and visited her body 4 times at the morgue and tried to raise her from the dead. What
was that?
What that is too is, according to the coroner who was on site, he did not do that. According to the coroner, he's hid over in the corner by the trash can. And didn't really even engage in this stuff that he's saying. I mean, not even close at all. And they didn't say it was multiple times. They said it was once. So again,
my husband, when he was murdered, and I got to the hospital, I didn't know, because I saw them like shocking him in the back of the ambulance as we were following it to the hospital, which wasn't far from the restaurant. And when I went in, the woman at the front was trying to stop me because I was wanting to go back there, and she had to buzz me back. And then that's when the doctor came out and said, I'm sorry, he was DOA. After I beat on his chest, 6 months pregnant, and they're like, oh, we need to check you out. I'm like, I'm fine. I go and get in the bed with him. I mean, I was 21 years old. I'm in shock. They had to send him off to an hour and a half away to Montgomery, Alabama to do an autopsy. And so his body was away for 2 days. And when they got it back to the funeral home, before they could do anything, I went back and stayed, and they let me, and I know the owner of the funeral home, his son and I went to school together. They let me not sleep, but stay there with him as long as I wanted to. I think it was for like 8 hours when he passed away on Thursday night, right before Friday at midnight. We got his body back that Sunday, and that's Saturday. Maybe that's Sunday. I don't know. It's been 25 years. But yeah, like you do that. You don't stand off and not want to be.
And he's going to steer the narrative to whatever he wants. But they said no. They have
a pathological liar.
Right. But they have cameras. They have cameras in there when someone's viewing or whatever. And plus
they're
not
in there, and
they can see in there. And they said that
they gonna get your ass.
Mr. Miller talks about there not being an autopsy done and that being against the family's wishes.
Now, what is the FBI actually investigating? I've been told that they're not investigating the death, which actually they should. Is that true?
Oh, they should, definitely. We're pleading with them, please. If any of you guys see this, please do it. Check into her.
Are they investigating more for the financial aspect of this?
I can't respond on that. I'm not going to at liberty to say what all they're doing. I'm just pleading that they do, more. I'm pleading that they please, check into this. Do some combing, because you will find some connections. You will find some, if nothing else, the influence that drove her to that.
And why was the body cremated so quickly?
Good question. Because he wanted to. We did not want to. We wanted her to.
Another thing. I know we've said this before, but I remember being on Steph Case Files Live in May of last year saying just exactly this. How within less than 24 hours is he up there telling what he believes happened to Micah, before the investigation was even concluded, that she did this to herself. And but by the way, we have her funeral this upcoming Sunday at 3:00. Already had her funeral planned. We couldn't even plan my husband's funeral. I want to say it was Saturday, Sunday. He passed away on a Thursday. You already know when you're going to have the funeral?
Be buried. So if anything, other evidence came to light or some kind of connection was made, she could be exhumed and re-examined. Because unbeknownst to us, there was not an autopsy, and there was only a blood alcohol test done. In North Carolina, they said that they have plenty of material enough sample material to do multiple tests for a long time. So we said, well, we need to move that forward. And we ended up filling paperwork out on the spot after that briefing to do a full toxicology report, because they're either lazy, lackadaisical. If the law says they don't have to, if the law says here's what you do, they do the minimum. And that's a problem in the whole world right now, strongly in the U.S. and strongly in this state, obviously South Carolina. The minimum is all they do. They don't take initiative to do more. If there's any sign of potential wrongness, they should have done toxicology, full spectrum, and they should have done the.
Now, also, he admitted to stalking her and slashing her tires. Is that correct? Or deflating her tires?
Yeah.
Ashley,
I'm trying to back.
Ashley, I didn't know you were a widow too. I'm so sorry.
Just a little bit, because autopsy is what I was trying to say. I couldn't even get the word out.
Okay.
And we were shocked, actually. I'll get to that. Hold it. That
of course,
we were shocked that
shocked.
they didn't do an autopsy and that she should be checked. And I asked if there was water in her lungs, and they said, well, we don't know, because we didn't check that. And that's when we realized they didn't do an autopsy. And then they said, well, typically what happens if someone, with a wound like that, there probably wouldn't be any water because I was like, what do you mean? Well, probably. And then, he said about the released information. Well, we assumed you already knew that we were going to rule this a suicide. So we're sorry we didn't let you know and we let it out to the public first. And I was like, okay, again, you're really going to say assumed? You're literally using probably and assumed and would maybe, and I think, what an easy job to be able to just halfway do whatever and just say it's this. And they weren't very happy with our aggressiveness towards, hey, we need more answers than this.
Well, that's too bad that they weren't.
Exactly. And most of them cooperated just fine. And there was some of them were, they were fine. It's just that they just didn't do the exceptional job. Excellence. If you're in law enforcement, it's not just a cool gig where you get to carry a gun. You have to be excellent. You have to be honorable. And it's just a shame. And if you're a coroner, it's okay to say unknown, undetermined death. You don't have to make a decision. Don't let law enforcement push you to make a decision.
Well, usually they don't.
Just say undetermined.
I mean, you don't mess with the coroner and medical examiner here in my county. They determine. You don't get to sway them.
And then they can dig
They're
more
the baddest
MFers
around.
So he forced us to do the cremation. He made us. He said he would not let us see her at all at first. Initially, he said you're not going to see her at all. And all of us were saying, like, what is wrong with you? How do you expect us to grieve for the loss of our sibling and our child without seeing her? And I think he already knew that we were going to, that it could end up being that we would figure out something. Because why wouldn't you let us see her? Well, so we kept on him. He did some paperwork real fast. And poor Angelita was just sobbing because she wanted to bury her and then exhume her later after this stuff came out and get further testing. But he said, no, you can't see her unless you sign these. And then, she did want to be cremated according to what he said. But the lawyers have been digging to find if there's any will that actually said that. And so he forced it. He pushed it. We signed. And I'd like to have the ashes tested. I've heard of cases where ashes were tested and chemicals were found that should not be there in a typical person's remains. So I'm requesting that be done. And
what did you see when you had the body at the funeral? What did you see?
At first, I just thought that doesn't look like her at all. Because of the drastic pressure from that type of wound. It was hard to tell which. The wound area, entry and exit, looked almost identical. It was very difficult because poor Sierra said, this is just so unfair. Why are we having to do this investigation? Why are these people not doing their jobs? She was just, everybody was distraught. I was extremely furious. We saw bruising on hands immediately. And immediately we just said, we've got to take pictures of this. We've got to document this because nobody said anything about this. And then when we talked to the coroner about it, they said, what bruises? We didn't see anything. And they said,
Miss Angelita told me this the other day when she called me about the song, the song that we took his piano out in that Ashley did for us. I don't guess if I did know this, I don't remember. A lot's happened with all of us in a year, but yeah, they were like, what bruises? What are you talking about? But yet then they put that on their initial findings. They add the bruises that they didn't even see on her the family gave the pictures to them. Did y'all know that? Listen.
So we said, oh, do you want to see them? And boom, red flushed face, like, oh my gosh. Showed them pictures. Look at her hands. They're bruised. Does that look like bruising? Yeah. Does that look like scratches? Yes. And, but maybe that could have happened after the fact or whatever. Oh, but wait, you just said that if that kind of trauma happened to a person's head, that everything stops. No breathing, no heartbeat. So there would be no bruising either if it happened after the shot. It happened before the shot. She got bruises and such.
Wonder
because
if that's
the only
just
time they come out. Bruises won't grow post-mortem. They don't move. They don't expand unless there's a heartbeat. So they happen beforehand, like right beforehand, of course.
So when they said that she called, was it the police to let them know that she was going to commit suicide, and so that this was in a park, a state park, so that they would know where to find her body.
Yes, and she,
I like this picture of Regina.
If she got herself there, how's the first thing she's going to say is, I don't know where I'm at, and I'm in a national park. She wouldn't say that. She's not stupid. she knows where she would be. It's so that's kind of weird, strange at that point too. The other part of I don't know where I am could be in effect that she was way off the trail in a secluded area where only park rangers go, and there's like a bird habitat area with boxes for the birds and such. That's for the park ranger use only, and it's like a mile away from the normal trails. Where everybody else walks the trails, they have no idea it's there. Nobody knows it's there. And so that might be the only thing as far as like, I'm not sure where I'm at. And of course, in that case, she would have said, I'm at this park and named it. I'm in the trails and I'm in the backwoods instead of just this blank thing, And
were there any cameras or witnesses that might be able to show that she was not alone?
B, you can't see me? Can y'all see me? Would have to be my lawyer if I ever need one. Absolutely. Okay. Maybe come out and come back in. Nana.
No, typical, less than mediocre for as far as, the park rangers have a lot of authority. You would think that they would demand from the powers that be that there would be cameras for surveillance because that whole area is known for high crime and problems. And one of the witnesses even said, we don't just go walking up on people because you never know who's going to be back there. You never know what they're going to be doing. And so even one of the witnesses said, the one who found her items said that he was scared to go over there, so anyway, I'm flabbergasted at the moment. So ask me another question or something.
Here, Mr. Francis confirms something we kind of already know, but it's good to have it confirmed, right? That the redacted name in Micah's police complaints was, in fact, J.P. Miller.
I was going to ask, is it true that he admitted to deflating her tires and to stalking her and to putting a tracking device on her car? And if there was a tracking device on her car, could someone not have followed her to that place?
Exactly. So let's go backwards. Yes, very disappointed with the Myrtle Beach police and those areas and those kind of things. He deflated her tires, which is obviously illegal. It could be reckless endangerment. She could have crashed her car. And, of course, he would have probably thought that was great and perhaps hoped that she died.
That's crazy.
Why didn't they arrest
I didn't
him?
even think about that.
They knew who was doing this. And they redacted his name at one point.
I didn't.
Obviously, they knew who it was.
I only thought he was doing it just to stop her where she was. I didn't think about her driving with it in her tire, not knowing, and it causing her to crash and pass.
Had the devices turned in, multiple tracking devices, even put one tracking device on the woman that Micah was staying with, who was like a godmother to her and like a grandmother, put a tracking device on her car. She pressed charges against him, and
I don't have
and
that.
We're talking about that redacted name.
Did y'all know that? Well, I wouldn't have gotten it in my FOIAs because I didn't request anything with her name, but I did with that address, Margarita Drive. Wow. Did y'all know that? I think he did that once so she would end up missing court. Yes, I remember hearing it. Good God, where have I been?
Was JP, correct?
it was. So they already knew. Why didn't they arrest him? He harassed her in front of the cops, and all they said was, you need to leave or I'm going to arrest you. You need to leave or I'm going to arrest you. What are you, a teacher at school hoping that the kid will cooperate? No, arrest him. Arrest him on the spot.
Bless his
Breaks
heart.
my heart to say, guys, but I think it's clear at this
Replay
point.
it?
The
Okay.
system.
That he admitted to deflating her tires and to stalking her and putting a tracking device on her car. And if there was a tracking device on her car, could someone not have followed her to that place?
Exactly. So let's go backwards. Yes, very disappointed with the Myrtle Beach police and those areas and those kind of things. He deflated her tires, which is obviously illegal. It could be reckless endangerment. She could have crashed her car. And, of course, he would have probably thought that was great and perhaps hoped that she died. Why didn't they arrest him? They knew who was doing this. And they redacted his name at one point. Obviously, they knew who it was. And they had the devices turned in, multiple tracking devices, even put one tracking device on the woman that Micah was staying with, who was like a godmother to her and like a grandmother, put a tracking device on her car. She pressed charges against him, and
we're talking about that redacted name was JP, correct?
It was. So they already knew. Why didn't they arrest him? He harassed her in front of the cops, and all they said was, you need to leave or I'm going to arrest you. You need to leave or I'm going to arrest you. What are you, a teacher at school hoping that the kid will cooperate? No, arrest him. Arrest him on the spot.
Breaks my heart to say, guys, but I think it's clear at this point. The system failed Micah, like it failed so many people. The system failed Micah Miller.
Is that good, Crystal Baby?
Is this guy been harassing her? Oh, he is? Oh.
Is that good? Yes. Okay, good.
Okay, now you're under arrest.
I don't know.
Simple. Do your job.
So,
anyway.
But he was never arrested for harassing her, for deflating her tires, for putting crackers on her car.
And then he even admitted it.
Stalking her.
Admitted
Apparently
it.
not.
And that's illegal. You stalk someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And harassing, obviously. And he was told over and over, stop this, stop this, stop this. We had to tell him, stop texting us during this whole process. Initially, he was bombing our phones. And we had to keep telling him, stop texting us. And of course, so we did he did 3 times. And then we say, okay, we told you 3 times. Now we're going to, call cops and make a complaint that you are stalking us or that you are harassing us. And
I have those messages where Michael told him, stop texting me. He will get karma soon.
That entire police force was under tarnished badge.
Tarnished badge. Oh, yeah, speaking of tarnished badge, he had a fake badge that was not even from this state, a picture of it on his phone, that he would show them when he gets pulled over because he doesn't ever drive a speed limit day in his life. And he would flash this badge that was from another state to get off from tickets.
Did y'all know that?
Wow.
Do you,
he's not even related to them. It's not like
do you know if he had any kind of a criminal record
That's
outside?
impersonating a police officer.
Any problems with police before?
Absolutely. I feel so bad for...
To a police officer.
Justice came and preached at the church, and he always does a background check because he doesn't want to go get affiliated with somebody who's this out of it. And John Paul put on the best acts. He got Micah to agree to cooperate through the sermon and everything, and he spent upwards to $15,000 to expunge everything and anything he could so that when Jessica Plantis did a background check, that it would look like he was not such a bad guy. But he was a felon. He was not even supposed to have weapons. And yeah, it's just so sad. Yeah,
I want to thank you for your time with us, and I will get with you regarding permanently joining the trauma triage team. You will be telling more of of Micah's tale on Monday as well on our trauma triage team.
Thank you.
You have just this conversation with you has emotionally impacted me, and I know it has emotionally impacted the entire nation. If you want to achieve justice for Micah, please go to, can you say the website again?
JusticeForMicah.com.
The chief helped
and please donate to help facilitate an investigation into Jesse.
Yeah, we need legal funds help.
Yeah, we will help you in any way we can.
He's a millionaire as far as land. He's got lots of land and such, and he can liquidate stuff. So
yeah,
Well, we're going to over the bend with something. It's going to be it's a fight.
Yeah, we're going to help you. This is we really care about you deeply, and we want to thank you.
Thank you, David.
Coming on, and we look forward to having you on a regular basis. We look forward to talking to you.
This is just such a sad, freaking sad tale. So, guys, Justice for Micah. The family needs help with legal funds to.
So this was before Waymakers was done as well. Which Waymakers wasn't done until what, August-ish. Isn't that? I didn't know if y'all had heard that. Anybody want to come up before I get off? That's crazy. B, didn't you have some things you wanted to talk about? It's insane to hear this coming from Michael. I mean, I know he's done a lot of interviews, but he was more relaxed, and he did say a lot more with this one. And just to know that he already knew how it happened, he just assumed. And then, I mean, at that point in time, they didn't know that it was. I mean, yeah, right off the bat, they said that it was possibly that, but we all were even told about GS to the back of the head. Remember that rumor when it first happened, and we had to wait for that to be cleared up? So no, he didn't know. He just assumed because he knew what he was trying to put down, and he had no idea that we existed, that none of us existed, and that Micah was going to change all of our hearts. He has patience because I would have reacted badly. It just blows my mind, some of the things that I learned in that. And that creator's in here. And thank you again for sending me in a good direction to things that I had never heard. I hadn't either, Charity. I can't believe Michael has been able to keep himself from taking on. I know. Her dad seems very thinner in God, and that's the only thing that kept him from handling it himself. I agree. I keep seeing some bank accounts coming in. FYI to the bank accounts, just stay out in window lick. You don't come in because you're just gonna get blocked. It is worth going back through the family interviews. They said so much. I have a lot of those in that Dropbox that I have, the sisters and stuff. But it is good to go back, and then it's also good to go back and listen to a lot of Regina stuff. And the way he treated the family, Crystal, the things that he said, like the day after, good job, Francis family. I mean, how could you bring yourself to blame them? My mother-in-law wanted to blame her other son, my brother-in-law. It was just an instinct. That's her child. Her other child was gone. She didn't know what had happened. That was her initial, but she didn't do it publicly. She just asked, was it because of him? Was he the reason why the fight started? He immediately, he knew. He started planning this, and I think that the final straw was definitely, I think there, because we know February 26th, he was already putting stuff on his phone to make her look like she was unwell, and to make the family look bad too, already starting February 26th. So definitely when he was served in April the 26th or 25th too, I think that was it. That was when he was like, okay, it's over. He already knew how, but it was over. It baffles me that he calls himself a pastor with the way he treats people, especially the family. And I'm going to say this again. I guess all of the people that know them personally, that knew Micah as well, all of these things all of these people would come forward with the same stories about them and how he really is, and but he's the only one telling the truth, and we're supposed to. We're the witch hunters because we got called witch hunters today on Facebook, or we're on a witch hunt. Okay, Sue. More and more are being exposed. Oh, good job, Nanner. Might already be too many around him. What brand of broom are we flying on? I have a Swiffer. The new one, I like it. I mentioned they just can't handle the truth. I mentioned, I guess I pissed them off, because we're going in hard on them again. But, with all of that drama that had happened before, and we kind of backed away, because of dealing with it. That's a distraction. That's why it happened. And then everything else that's been going on, and it was just time. It's time for us to get back. We're not through. We haven't finished what she started, and until we do, I'm not shutting up. I just got my voice back. You got me crazy. We do. I'm not going to let that bother me either. No, thank you, Stacy. Thank you for all of y'all. It's not just me. I wish people would come up on the panel. Come on. I hate being by myself. I don't mind, to play stuff like this and to talk, but I'm sure people have things to say. Come on. Anybody have anything they want to say before I get off about what we heard, or about... She does deserve justice. Hey, Sarah, I haven't seen you in a while. You don't have guest request up. I don't. Yeah, I do. Here. What? It didn't do it. That's why no one's coming up. Still not showing. Are you serious? I thought I did. How do I change it? Request invalid. Oh, Lord. If I get off and I've been entered, now I can't see any of your comments. None of them. I just see people coming in. I don't know what to do. It's still showing me that surviving through the struggle is up here when I click on it. Okay, I just invited one person. Did you get it? Is it allowing you now? Is it allowing you now? All right, who wants to come up? I guess I have to invite you. There it comes. Okay. I don't know what happened. Oh, it knocked y'all down. I don't understand. Why? I wonder if someone reported. That's what I was worried about. It is, Lisa. Maybe that's what it is. Damn it. I wanted to hear what some of y'all had to say. Hold on. I'm going to come out and I'll be right back. Damn it. I wanted to hear what some of y'all had to say. Hold on. I'm going to come out and I'll be right back. All right. I just had to go out and come back in.
What in the world is going on?
TikTok be wilding out, Nana. Hey, Jay. I know.
I had never heard a lot of that stuff on that.
I hadn't either.
It was awesome.
I thought it was really good too.
Yeah. And I had never seen those marks on his neck either. Wow.
Yeah. So none of us had. That's the thing. Like I remember hearing about marks on him, but I didn't remember where. And a lot of people said it was his hand.
I don't even remember hearing anything about him.
It was about his hands. I would like to hear it. Where do I find it? Okay. So if you go to What's the Obsession, I'm going to show y'all. Here. Okay. If you go to there we go. If you go to, hold on, I'm going to keep saying it. Okay. Go to What's the Obsession on YouTube. And then it's Inside the Mind of True Crime. But you go to her podcast. So, like, you go to her page and then you slide over and you'll find her podcast. And then you scroll down and it's like, it's far on, it's on down there. You'll start, I mean, she's got 200 and, let's see, it's past Alec Murdoch's, Moscow, Bella. She's got a lot of the Watt stuff. But then you'll start seeing Micah's stuff. And then when you get to it, anyway, it's the one that's called crap. I guess I'll just have to find it. It talks about Micah Sabuse. Here it is. Micah Miller died on JP's abuse. Graphic details on all the rumors. Viewer discretion is advised. There's that one. There's Micah Miller's husband. Big slip to Micah's best friend. He knows way too much. Micah Miller's family members interview on her suspicious death and relationship with JP. I mean, there's several right here. Several. I'm going to go listen to all of them, which I've always liked her. I used to watch her religiously from 2018 to 2022. She's pretty awesome. And now she's doing the thing. She's got 200 and something videos just for her podcast, but then she's got thousands and thousands of videos on it's What's the Obsession? That's the YouTube channel. So she just kind of went over it, but the actual interview is on Rumble. And if you'll give me a second, I will replay it real quick where it says the name of the Rumble. Let's see.
Welcome back to What's the Obsession. We're going to be talking about the Micah Miller case.
Her name's Kelly.
We're going to be hearing from Micah Miller's father, Michael Francis. Now, this is an interview that he did. It was on a Rumble channel. It wasn't on one of those mainstream media news channels like I know we've seen them a lot on Ashley Banfield and the Law and Crime Network. This is a little bit different. The channel that did the interview that we are going to be listening to part of is the David Zublik channel. And that channel is not on YouTube, but rather it can be found on Rumble.
David Zublik. It's David, and then it's Z-U-B. Oh, shit. Z-U-B-L-I-C-K. But it says Awake Nation, but that's a Rumble account. But I'm going to post it on our Discord, Deadly Darlings Discord, and I'll post it. I'll even post some of this live and put it in the video or whatever. Or you can, yep, there you go. David Zublik. There you go. Or message me if anybody wants it, because she's got several and she's an amazing creator. And so I just didn't know that. I hadn't seen her in years. So I didn't know, I didn't even think about her doing anything, but another creator that's in here. Thank you again. That doesn't want me to name them, sent this to me and sent me down this rabbit hole. So what did y'all think?
It was good.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was really good.
It's very informative.
Very.
Yeah.
It kind of reiterated things that we already thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Misty, you might need a
Yes, I did.
Nana and Amber, and then remod them again because they're having the same issue. Remember the other day you had it when you couldn't block anyone?
Mine's good now.
It's going now?
Wasn't working when it was doing that weird stuff earlier.
Okay, that's all right then. So
Yeah.
because it did that. It did that the other day to me, and it did it to Misty as well. Hey, Misty, when you couldn't do nothing, it's like it takes away your modding privileges, but you have full access. It's weird.
Yeah, when I was blocking some usernames and stuff that came in earlier, and then when y'all started saying the guest box wasn't up, I hadn't even looked. That's during the time that it wasn't working.
It's like it just disappeared, eh?
It's crazy. It's wild.
And you got no flags?
Huh?
You got no flags, no nothing, eh?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank God.
That was a nice. She said scroll up. What now? Ashley.
Oh, to Ashley's comment.
Hi, girl. Come see us. I miss you. No, I'm having... Micah's sister Anna said thank you to the both of us for that audio. That was your idea. I love you, and tell her Tell Anna she's so welcome. And I'm supposed to tell you, and I'm so sorry I haven't. But Angelita said the same thing. But hear this, Ashley, come up for a second. I got to tell you this, if you can. Can you come up for a second? It was thoughtful, but everybody thought about it, and it wasn't just me. And you're amazing for what you do. Hey, baby. Hi, beautiful. What
What's
you
up,
doing?
girl?
I miss you.
How y'all feeling?
So we're good. So listen. So Angelita saw it, the video I made that I put you in about it, and thanked you for it. And I had sent it to Allie, and Allie was going to send it to her for Mother's Day, but I had posted it because I didn't know if she'd already sent it yet, just like you had suggested. So I'd given it to Allie, Allie the protester, and she was going to give it to her for Mother's Day. And so I went ahead and posted that. Well, I guess she saw it, so she commented and said, "Oh my God, this is from Micah's freshman pageant." And I didn't see that, but then she messaged me and was like, "Will you please get up with me?" And so I sent her my number, and she called me. And she told me the most amazing story. Okay, so Micah's freshman year, she was in a pageant. And in that pageant, what is that?
That's my Justice for Micah shirt. What the hell?
Just listen to this. Listen, you're going to die. You're not literally, but it's going to make you feel so amazing to know that you were part of this. Everybody was part of this that thought about the idea to do Somewhere Over the Rainbow and take his piano out of there. And thanks to Ashley, she did a beautiful job of it. And so it was able to be given to the family. And so Angelita said she thought because she had to fly back from Myrtle Beach in Micah's freshman year back to Kansas. And while she was in the airport, she bought this little bitty music box that would sit in your hand, and it played the very first part of it. Played the whole song, but the very first part where Micah sings. A lot of people don't know that chorus, that first
At all. Yeah. I loved
And
that
so
she did that version.
I hadn't heard it either until Micah, to be honest with y'all. And so for her pageant, she did in the talent show part of it. Micah put that little tiny thing up to the microphone and started it off and sung it a cappella. And so when that was given to the family, when that was given to Angelita, for her to hear it, she thought, and it was Mother's Day, so she thought, oh my God, somebody found it. What a gift. Isn't that beautiful?
What?
So thank you, JP, because of you sending that or posting it on YouTube, and I screen recorded before you could take it down. You were able to give Micah's mother, not you, but because of you.
What was your idea? I mean, I was just honored you asked, and I was like, yeah, I'd be. And then I listened to it, and it took, immediately just.
You did it that very moment that I asked you to do it. It was beautiful.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I saved that. I can't listen to it anymore.
I know it makes me cry every time.
Her
but
voice
that's what all of you, everybody that when we were playing that Somewhere Over the Rainbow, we had a live, and we all talked about how it sounded like JP attempted to overpower her with his.
Are we shocked by that?
And oh my God.
Freshman?
Huh? A freshman year of high school. That's not it. She sung it a cappella.
Oh, okay. So, all right, that was just another redo of that song. I was like, he was pursuing her since when? Okay, I'm glad you clarified that because I was about to have a conniption fit.
Do you
want to play it, Amber? Have y'all not heard it? It's on my page.
I've heard it.
No people.
You want me to play it on the studio speakers?
Yes, go ahead and play it.
Yes, please, Ashley.
It's beautiful, y'all.
Because a lot of people haven't heard it without the piano.
That piano was just all over the place.
So I screen recorded it and then brought the bridge part together so there's not a pause in it. But I tell you what, it was it's just the way it is it's beautiful. Just listen.
All right, let's get her in there. Okay. Let me get this plugged in. Pardon me, I'm going to sit y'all down for a second. Sideways, that is.
Thank you, Stacey. I agree. And I'm sure I will have another amazing one tomorrow night. Trying to figure. I mean, there's something else that I was sent that I would like to, and I hope that Miss Ann, Ashley. Oh my gosh, Ashley hasn't seen the neck. Okay, once you play this, then I got something to show you. But Ann has already sent it to some producers of a show that have that capability of fixing it. But just wait till I want to see what Ashley's response is to this.
Fixing what?
I'm gonna wait till after you play the song because this is going to get you so sidetracked. We're not gonna get to hear.
I'm gonna let you know now. I can do a lot of those things a lot faster now. Studio is more up and running than it's ever been.
That's awesome, baby.
Okay.
This is absolutely beautiful, y'all. Y'all are gonna be just.
I have an entire folder dedicated to Micah Miller's case. Excuse me, Micah Francis's case.
There you go.
It's odd that I'm wearing her shirt today.
It's a sign always.
Crazy. I lost a friend of mine to domestic violence similar to this, and when it was like right around that season of when this stuff occurred, and something about her just felt like her spirit felt familiar to me.
Familiar.
All right, let's see. What was... I have a couple of different versions of it.
It don't matter. You just play the ones that you sent me two amazing versions. I think they were pretty much the same. The MP3 and the MP4 maybe.
Mastered. So I did one that was a little bit more heavy on the reverb, and then I have one without the heavier reverb, so it just kind of depends on... I can give you the other version too if you want it.
Either one, baby. They were both amazing. I couldn't even tell the difference, to be honest. They were just so amazing. Probably because I couldn't stop crying, but...
Huh. Yeah, you got me with that one. I was not ready for it.
I'm sorry. But look how beautiful it turned out. Hold on. Go ahead. I'll be right back.
Master doing up in here. Come on. Girl, stop being bashful. Hurry up and play. She's being finicky, excuse her. Now, come on. I love it when I get put on the spot like this and stuff freezes up. Give me just 1 second. Mastered.
Oh, I meant to get me a Coke.
Open with. Oh, you're not plugged in. That would be a great start, dipshit. Every time I get a new investment, they keep moving the holes around that I can plug things into. User error, my fault.
Do you need me to play it?
I got you. It's right here.
Because I got it right here. Do you want me to play it?
There it goes. Alright, I'm going to start it back over for you. Darken up the sky. There's a rainbow high to the ground. With you from your beyond the sun, beyond the
Give it just a second. It comes back. It's just the bridge.
I should have cut those breaks out.
That was a little bit longer than I thought.
I heard of once in a lullaby. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where shadows melt like raindrops away up the chimney tops. That's where you find me
Crazy.
Bluebirds
Hey.
so bright, oh why can't happy little bluebirds fly beyond the why, oh why can't
Mm. Um. Mm. If you go on my page and scroll down just a little bit to maybe 2 weeks ago, it's got its own audio and you can use it. And it's just her and it doesn't have the break in it. It just moves on into the whole, and you can thank this amazing human, Ashley. Everybody in here all suggested getting him out of there. What could we do? And we all said, Ashley.
I love that. I'm flattered. I'm honored. Thank you.
No, we were honored. Thank you. And I'm so glad that her family has it. And what a beautiful story.
What a thoughtful thing for y'all to do for a family like that. Like, this is the first Mother's Day that our mom is not.
It's her second, but she couldn't remember
now.
her first, she said. Because I said that during the phone, and she was like, actually, it's my second because she passed away in April.
That's right.
But she said she don't remember anything about that first, which I can only imagine you're still in shock at that point.
I think that was an incredible thing to give to her mom and to her family, to like have that to hold on to where JP's hands couldn't taint it and make it something else other than that's perfection, period. She's, my God.
Well, are you ready for the next thing?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, the day that he preached a whole sermon and then told his congregation that his wife, passed away from his self-induced. Yeah. Okay. So hold on.
Red flag. I knew immediately then.
Look at this. So there's a creator that's in here that sent me a message and was like, hey, I want you to go watch the sermon and tell me what you see, if you see anything. And then they showed me the neck. She sent me. This is not Photoshop. It's on every single video from new. Oh my God. Just wait. Look what we found.
Can you make your section bigger?
Yes. I think. How do I?
Make us smaller. I think you can go to your settings.
Grid.
How many do you see?
What am I looking at here?
What do you see on the back of his neck?
You see the marks?
A wireless microphone?
Look at the marks on the back of his neck.
Uh-huh.
All right. Scratches, bruises, whatever. Okay, so this is him. So they're not just, this is him other days. This is the actual day. There you go.
Oh my God.
And how have we never seen this? And thank you again to that creator that won't let me name them, because, oh my God.
That's somebody trying to fight him.
This is her, in my opinion, allegedly, this is her fighting for her life.
How did we miss that?
I don't know. I've watched that sermon, that part. I've watched that 30-something times, I promise. And
that makes a handprint. If you're looking like you can see where her hand was.
Yes, you can. And since I showed this last night, I had someone else reach out and say, off the record, meaning their name needs to be off the record, because I had to say, when you say off the record, it means I can't repeat it. And they're like, no, just don't say where it came from, which I would never give up a source. That it was said that there was makeup being put on him by a blonde that morning before church. And now they know why. They never understood why.
Make me big real quick. I'm gonna see what I can find for you real quick. I gotta show you something.
Yeah, Auntie, it does, don't it? And this is actually from the video. And so I went and found the video myself, and I found several different versions of it, and I paused and blew up, and it is in the video. This is no way Photoshop. They're not in other ones of him. This is it. Hey, Ashley, any chance you have that whole sermon? I know, Butterfly, right? We were about to get off earlier, and here we are. Yeah, so Debbie, I said, and I called them all three out on my video from last night after the live. I said it's either Susie Q or it's Lacey, because doesn't Lacey, his sister, have blonde hair? Or am I crazy? Or Trisha and her silver hair, his secretary. Hey, y'all stop whining now. Where did Nana, where did B go? Did she say something?
Not
Oh,
really.
Shun your Mimi. Here, you want to sit in the chair by Mommy? Come here. Come here. Doesn't he always touch his neck there in interviews when talking about my... Oh my God, turd. Oh my gosh. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out again. Hold, please. Let me turn my camera back on. Hear me out. When Nicole Kessinger, every time she would say Shanann, she would go, Shanann. Or she would do like this. Chris did like this. What? Body language experts on other people. Like one girl was STABBED, where my husband was. And they would always grab the one who did it, grab their stomach every time. Yeah. So what if? Because he does. Exactly, Charity. Why? And you can see there's makeup because it's a more yellow tone for maybe a fair skinned. All right, what's this?
So if I were everybody, let's clear the chat. Clear your display where the comments are popping up, okay?
So just hold your button down and it clears it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you would think.
I thought so too, but I can't do mine because I guess I'm the host, maybe. You just tell me.
Oh, right above the chat, like right above it, hold your finger down, and then it should pop up with a clear display, just so everybody can read this. This was posted inside of a Facebook group by an anonymous person.
I can't clear mine, but just tell me.
It said, something got cut off right up here. Crap, I just did. Damn it.
I do it all the time.
You know what? Let me see if I can get the other green screen that doesn't cut it off. I'll just hold my hand up.
Oh, side spot.
Okay, hold on.
Mine don't do it for that. Mine just makes my things bigger. It's because I'm a host. I'm fine.
I need April.
Sometimes you'll see.
April 9th. Where am I at? April 9th. Yeah, this one helps. Oh, this is way too damn shaky.
Okay, you've shown it to us. Now just read it to us.
Are we dating the same guy?
Oh, yeah. Are they being for real?
This, okay, I'm going to put this back up here for a second. Been talking to John Paul. I know he's newly single, so thought I would shoot my shot on here and see if anybody knows anything. Thank you so much. Someone caught that inside of this Are We Dating the Same Guy group on Facebook.
Okay.
Notice the date. This was on April 2nd of 2024.
Right at April what?
2nd.
Before Micah was unalived?
Before she passed away.
I knew about this. Columbia. Where was it? What's the location of that one? Because like mine, I have my
Charleston and Columbia.
There's the Columbia thing. There it is. There it is. Carrie, you did too. There it is. We've all been wondering what happened in Columbia. Remember the text message that he wrote to her, or the messages he wrote to her on Snapchat and was apologizing for Columbia, and everything was perfect before Columbia? Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to send it to you so you can put it up.
I've heard a couple of rumors that some individuals have come forward saying that they met him on random chat apps and chat rooms like Kick
Yeah.
and Pal Talk, which are known child grooming sites.
Wait, what?
Funny how I've caught a few of those church members in various churches on those websites.
You've told me about this, and I needed to investigate it a little bit more.
Because I was dealing with a church down here in Houston that was abusing somebody's son who was 3 years old, and it was a young black woman named Sierra, and she's all over this app. It's Justice for Noah.
Noah's the 3-year-old?
Mm-hmm.
Send that to me on Facebook. Do me a favor. What I just sent you, put it up. Save it to your phone.
Remember how I told you it was going to end up being a lot bigger than y'all understood?
Yes,
it?
okay.
I knew this would tie in.
Now hear this out. Matter of fact, hold on a second. This is in the same area that you are right now. Think where you're at with what you're saying. Hold on.
Katie, you don't want to hear about them. I had to go digging for these church members. Found them. They thought they had erased those files. But before they could scrub their social media platforms, I just happened to snap, what? A screenshot.
How about there's a college in Canada that is connected to All Nations Bible College. And how, you know how nobody really wants to talk about Jerry Savelle, but I ain't scared. We're going to talk about Jerry Savelle. We're going to bust
Talk
that.
about that creepy old bastard that looks like Satan himself reincarnated on my TV.
Jerry Savelle was the pastor that was over there in Pakistan that was unalived right before Micah.
About 2 weeks before Micah.
Yeah, suspiciously. They said it was a heart attack, but okay. So hear me out.
Ashley, were you thinking
Y'all
of
remember
Jerry Falwell?
Yeah, or Benny Hinn. When we were growing up.
Evangelical weird dude that looks like
Yes,
Satan.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yep.
So, does anybody remember Canada Christian College? Does anybody remember Benny Hinn or Benny? Was it Benny Hinn or Benny Hill? Benny Hinn. Weird old MFer that he was a big pastor on the TV shows. Had made all this money. Turned out to be a freaking fraud, like we believed he was. How about Wayne Miller has connections to him? We're deep down at Benny Hinn, yes. Benny Hinn on TBN, yes, Carrie. So we're going to deep dive that.
The church I looked into and its members when I was helping this woman out with getting her information that she could end up using against these guys in court to expose them.
Go ahead. I got you. I'm not telling you.
I need everybody to understand something. A church is just a building with 4 walls with a fancy cross on it where they take your tithing and your money. They say it's for Jesus, but those pastors are doing everything they can behind that 501c3 to fund their lavish lifestyles. And it's not for God. It's full of sin. It is devil himself could not be more evil.
Okay. Tim Carter.
So I'm looking at Benny Hinn.
No, you're fixing to hear about Tim Carter too.
Benny Hinn Ministries. Why
Yeah. Oh,
anybody who names their ministries after themselves is already a red flag.
Yes, he was a freak, and he was back in my days. Okay, so my good friend, Miss Carrie, down here in the chat, is who put me onto this. So let's remember Canada, and what did you say the name of the church was? Canada, that is connected to the All Nations Bible College, which is what Wayne Miller is connected to, okay? But what's the name of the Canada church? Carrie's very smart. I'm just saying, in case y'all didn't know. But anyway, so think about that, and then and I'm gonna name the names: the Buttons, the Duttons, the Buttons and the Duttons. Okay, both 2 different people. The Buttons and the Duttons. The Carters, Tim Carter, and then you've got the Millers. He's connected to the Canada Christian Bible College. Yes, the Duttons, the Buttons. Dominion TV is the Duttons. Yes. Do y'all know about the Buttons? Because they're there too, and he was JP's spiritual advisor. She was Micah's spiritual advisor. It's in the medical records, her number and everything. But they have taken from their homes, elderlies in the church's homes, and profited off of them. They're piece of shits too. So the Buttons and the Duttons, and now we've got the Carters. So Tim Carter, allegedly, but not, would go and pick up women, night women. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Just like me. And offer them, hey, I'll go get you a hotel room, get you free food, get you some food, bathe you, let you bathe, spend the night there, get you off the street for the night. Don't worry about it. But guess what happened when he would get them back to the rooms? Women of the hour, that's what I'm trying to say.
They did not consent.
No. And nor did they get their food. They may have been forced to bath. But yeah. And his wife, when was confronted and something was put about it on Facebook, she was real quick to say, he's done things he's not proud of. That was her response. I will find that for y'all. Yep, and the $1,000 video. Y'all all remember the $1,000 video. John Paul Miller paid $1,000 for Miss Dutton over here to go and act like to trick our protesters and act like she was there for what did she call the TV? She called it something. She even had a fake badge and all. I mean, they thought this shit out.
Myrtle Beach Media or some BS.
And then that's Guru, I think. Something like that. I have the video.
That to make fun of her on purpose or something.
Yeah, like some people got a hold of Coastal Media, and I actually, yep. Well, Carrie's right, and we're digging into that some even more. Pictures from graduations at Canadian College look just like graduations at Wayne's College. Wait a minute. Do we know somebody that's Canadian that's in this movement or around? I don't know. Am I crazy?
I know several Canadians. What do you need?
In the chat. It's in the chat. Oh. Same robes and everything. Look at the name. Turd.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. The Dutton's pictures of graduation are all on All Nations webpage. Wow, not telling you. So, All Nations Bible College. Is that also not that something that's over the retreat with the last name Wynn, the Nguyen that I've been, for some reason, can't get out of my head? Guess what the name of the president of the college president is? What, Carrie? More and more is coming out. Not telling you has some awesome. You need to go follow them, Ashley. Not telling you has some awesome content. And they have a video of the pictures. What is it, Carrie? Carrie. They had robes, etc., smiling on Facebook. Charles McVeety is the president of the